Hi, everyone. Amazing woman we have here today as we celebrate Women's History Month. We have another Woman of Worth Award winner for 2022, and her name is Legend Thurman. Congratulations, Legend, on this amazing award.
Thank you so much, Sherri. It was a big surprise, but I am humbled and honored to receive it.
And I one of the most amazing things to me about this and about you is that you are actually very young, but you are already making waves in this world. And it's such a cool story. And you have so much energy and power that you're putting into the world. And I'm so amazed to know you. You definitely live up to your name, Legend, which I think maybe we'll ask you about that in a little bit. But I want to ask you, Legend, what does it mean to you when you hear the words "woman of worth"?
I think it takes me back to what a lot of people think worth is. People think worth is tied to your appearance, your job, how much money you make by what job you have, things you've accomplished. So as you ticked off these different boxes as you go throughout your life. But worthiness is not tied to how much you achieve in a certain period of time. Rather, it's linked to who you are internally, your personality, what you put out into the world, whom you serve. That's something very important to me. And also just your outlook, because worthiness can be anything you want it to be. It's how you define it and how you put yourself into that position. And in my case, it's to serve others. So I would say that's what it means to me to be a woman of worth in this case, but it can be different to my neighbors.
I love that. And, I think that is right there, the check mark for legend. The word legend. She is a legend. She is so young, yet is so clear on that purpose of serving others. And it's just one of the things that I love about you, Legend. Can you tell everybody a little bit about who Legend Thurman is and what you're doing? Because you have a lot on your plate. But you're doing a lot of amazing things. And I know you have great big plans. So could you share a little bit about what you do and who you serve?
Of course. So my name is Legend Thurman. And just to clarify, like she mentioned in the introduction, that is my actual given name. We'll get that off the list right now because that's the first person I can promise you everyone asks me. I am originally from the US, half Pennsylvania, half Washington, D.C. And by my title, you can see here, I am a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine candidate at the Royal Veterinary College in London, England. So I'm talking to you from across the pond, as one would say. I am in my final year of my studies, so that encompasses rotations, research, the whole package deal, if you will, to get me ready to become qualified and have the title of doctor in front of my name, which is very exciting and intimidating at the same time. And I'm a little bit unique, actually. Coming into veterinary school, I had an open mind, which I encourage if anyone's following along this path, or even just your education in your life, is to keep an open mind. Your priorities can change, your outlook can change in terms of the direction you want to go down. And that's exactly what happened to me. So a lot of people, when they hear the word veterinarian, they think we're found in the clinic, on a farm, possibly in a zoo, if you know that much. Veterinarians can actually be found in a variety of roles. And I want to take on something that is a little bit non-average, I will say. It's to be a governmental veterinarian. A governmental veterinarian encompasses many different fields of work. It can be in legislative initiatives, public policy, advocacy, you name it, we're involved in it. So that can be on animal welfare, transportation, pharmacodynamics, lots of big words, but meaning we have an influence on the laws that are being enacted on a local, state, federal level, and how they're not only going to impact animals, but people and the environment as well in a One Health approach. So that is where I will hopefully see myself in the next year and a half once I have walked the stage. And I am hoping to be serving my purpose in giving a voice to those who cannot speak for themselves.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Just my heart just goes, "Oh, that's amazing." And you know what? It's so important that we do have people that stand up for those who can't speak for themselves, and in this case, animals. And it seems non-traditional, but that would just be completely apropos for Legend to do something non-traditional. But I love that because it's still serving, and it's serving animals and humans. And it's just amazing to me. So I know you are young, but I know you've had your share of struggles and challenges. Is there something that you'd like to share that was a struggle or a challenge for you that you overcame to get you where you are today?
Yes, I would have to say it's actually recent within the past couple years. So we all encounter challenges or hardships in our lives to different degrees. Some can be small, some can be quite large. Mine was not the decision to study veterinary medicine. That was quite easy. I'm definitely one of those people who knew since I was very young that I wanted to be a doctor for animals, as one would say. And even the whole process of working to get to the point and get into veterinary school, that had always been on my radar in terms of what I needed to do so I could get to this point in my life. But it was once I actually moved over to the United Kingdom that I probably encountered one of the greatest challenges. My first year was very challenging in terms of an academic and personal level, a lot of external stressors playing into my day-to-day life. So whenever I reached my second year of study, I completely was having what one would call an identity crisis, feeling I was lacking support in certain areas, and that I was desperately trying to live up to this expectation, if you will, that the world had put on me. But really, I had to look inside myself and figure out that that expectation was only what I was thinking it to be, which means it was all completely internal on a mental, emotional level. For example, some of you may know I am a published author at this point and have more projects coming up, but one of our previous books was Invisible No More, Invincible Forevermore, where I tackled a lot of the issues on personal image, body image, however you want to look at it in this case, and a lot of the negative aspects that can play in our life because we're trying to live up to societal standards. And that was just one facet of this whole package deal that was inflicting on my life. But how I overcame it was looking for the support in terms of what I needed. So that included therapy, group session work, having a success coach, being involved with the women action takers, and truly reforming my life so it lived up to where I wanted success to be in terms of what I did for myself, what I put out into the rest of the world, and truly how I could take care of myself on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level. And I found that once I started serving myself, I could better serve others in the long run.
Whew, I want to say preach. Well, Legend, I would be remiss in my duties as host if I didn't ask you, since we're talking about Women's History Month, what woman in your past has impacted you in a way that's going to impact the future?
I think it's almost impossible to pick one in this case, but I will do my best here. There are a lot of things that have impacted my life, from the people I've met, the stories I've read, and the experiences I've undertaken. But a couple notches I can give a shout out to are definitely my mom in this case. She has been a very strong, confident, and powerful woman that I've always looked up to since she started raising me from about the age of 5. She was an overnight obstetrics and gynecology specialist nurse who then would sacrifice her own sleep to take and pick me up from school at different points, and always teach me the value of hard work, kindness, compassion, and all of those things that were instilled in me that I still carry with me to this day in the work I do. And probably another shout out would be one of my closest friends, Dr. Marie Bucko, who definitely shone a light that you can do whatever you want in this profession that I am undertaking. And that actually is a bigger picture for everyone. It's having the inspiration and the guide and the confidence to know that even maybe you are undertaking something that's a little bit different or not to the norm, as we've been talking about, that it's okay. And they're just two special shout outs. Honestly, there are so many different people that help mold us and impact our lives in positive ways, even down to the different books we read and who have penned them at different points, or songs we listen to. But those definitely are a couple people I would like to give thanks to for sure.
That was amazing, Legend, and just so incredibly intuitive for someone so young. And I keep saying that you're young, but you're far younger than me. You're younger than some of my children, but I'm just so proud of you for really grasping and understanding that you're the boss of you. That's what I always say. I'm the boss applesauce. I'm the boss of me, and you're the boss of you, and you realize that, and reaching out and grabbing hold of those support systems, I know is really key. And but yet knowing it's still your choice and your voice, and I love that. And I'm so proud of you for knowing that and learning that so young, because sometimes it takes till you get to my age to figure that out. So congratulations on really, putting your stake in the ground and saying, I'm happy to be me. So that's awesome. One of the reasons that you are writing your own story and your own history. And I do want to talk about that because we have been co-authors, as you mentioned, and I know that you have multiple books in the chute because we all have a story to share, and we do have an upcoming one very shortly if you want to talk about that in Women's History Month. If you want to share a little bit about that book and maybe give a little hint about what the book is that you wrote about.
Of course. So the collaborative project Sherri just mentioned is something called The Book I Read. Stay tuned for upcoming details into launch day and all the wonderful stories you're going to read. It literally is an explanation in the title, The Book I Read. So all of us picked a book that has helped transform our lives in any way you can think of. So whether it's with their business, on a financial level, personally, spiritually, you name it, there's something that definitely will resonate with you. And if any of you have ever heard of a book called The Shack by William P. Young, that is the one I chose, which I was hesitant to pick as a book just because of some of the topics it hits. It hits on a lot of the big controversial questions within life. For example, and I will stop it here so we can have something to talk about in the next few weeks, but if the world is meant to be such a good place, why do bad things happen? And I know that all of you in the audience have asked that at one point in your life, whether it's been recent or beforehand, but I know you have. So that definitely was a conversation I tackled, but I am very pleased with what I put out and just honestly all the stories that are going to be in this novel in the next few weeks. So stay tuned.
I absolutely love that book, and it's definitely one of my favorites as well. So I'm anxious to read your story in there as well. So, and I know you have a project that actually our viewers could join you in, and it's a book that I know is close to your heart. Do you want to share the one that you're actually looking for co-authors in?
Yes. So this title is called Women Action Takers with Healing Powers. Now, I am a doctor of veterinary medicine candidate. The word healing and something along those lines probably is an easy definition one could associate me with. However, one thing I want to do with this project, which I am working on with a fabulous Linda Sunshine West, is to raise awareness that having healing powers is not just one particular occupation. So when we hear the word healing, we think doctor, vet, dentist, chiropractor. Probably, again, some of the basic professions that we utilize on a day-to-day basis or have to go to because they've always been within our regimen of life. Great. But it doesn't stop there. I mentioned before, there are all different areas of your life you have to take care of: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whether you do for yourself or help serve others. And we are looking for people, in this case, who are sharing their gifts to renew the world. So whatever that may be, in this case, whether you are a doctor, great. Maybe you are a spiritual healer, great. But if you have something that you do that helps serve others or is helping to change the world for the better in the long run, then we want to hear your story for sure. And I'm actually going to correct myself. I was used to saying women action takers before because that's what a lot of the previous projects I've been involved in, but it's actually just action takers. So men and women are welcome for this project.
I love that. And so amazing when we can impact the world with our gifts and how we heal in it. And there's so many different ways to do that. So I know you're going to be making a huge impact in the world, Legend. So I'm going to ask you a question. And it's kind of a hard one, but if I were to fast forward 100 years and we were talking about Legend Thurman and the history and the legacy that she left, what would people be saying about you, Legend?
It's hard to think that long in advance because I know a lot of us kind of are put on autopilot where we think, I have to get to the next phase of my life. I'm working so hard to tick off all these boxes again, accomplish something. And for a long time, that's exactly what I was doing. And I am human, so there are challenging days where I fall back on some of the old habits, but that's okay. But 100 years from now, my ancestors and whoever even knew me or knew my name, I'm not looking for the idea of being well known or popular, even within my profession. I'd like to say I've made my mark and made change for the better, even if it's impacting one person and one animal in some place around the globe. But I hope it resonates with actually a saying that I've thrown together over the past 2 years. And the saying I like to live by is build your platform according to your own terms, accomplishing to be a person of value, not simply success. So I want them to remember me for me, knowing I constantly wanted to give back, be a servant leader, always outlook in a positive direction on how we can make this world a better place from everyone in that One Health approach.
I love that. And I think the saying that keeps coming up through these interviews is really the ripple of blessings. It's not even necessarily that your name is attached to the blessing, but that you helped the ripple get there. And I know that's what you're going to be doing as you move forward and as you impact the world, Legend. Congratulations on being a 2022 Woman of Worth Award winner. So proud to know you. And I am here to cheer you on in all your endeavors. And I know that you're going to make a big impact in this world.
No, thank you so much, Sherri. And it's been a pleasure knowing you as well. If I can give a piece of advice to anyone is find the people who are going to support you. They may not be the people you think they are in terms of being directly in front of you all the time. It could be a project you get involved with, the next job that you're hesitant to take, a new church you're going to join. So the whole idea is get out there, take the risk. You never know who you're going to meet, because people like Sherri and a lot of the women and action takers I've met have truly made a difference in my life. The ripple effect of blessings. It takes one person to give out a sound and make a change.
Absolutely, 100%. And if somebody wants to connect with you, Legend, can you share with that? Because I know on social media you have a different name, and if you want, you can explain why. But it's just I want to make sure that people can connect with you.
Of course. So I am on most of the social media platforms. The reason Sherri started with that is because let's talk about Facebook. On Facebook, I am known as Alexandra Thurman, and that is because Facebook doesn't think Legend is a real name. I promise you it is, because my full name is Legend Alexandra Thurman. So on Facebook, middle name, but if you do type in Legend Thurman, I tend to show up just because I have my name in parentheses beside the middle name. But on LinkedIn, Instagram, and anything like that, I am simply Legend Thurman, and there shouldn't be another one on there. I haven't found one to this day, so that is definitely how you can connect with me for sure.
And that, my friends, is the legend for real right there. She is a legend, and she is writing her own story, and she is creating history. Thank you so much, Legend Thurman. You are awesome.
Thank you so much, Sherri, and right back at you.